Hello, everyone. My name is Claire Jones, and I offer systemized solutions to art businesses and small businesses with passion so that they can successfully, comfortably, and really happily grow their businesses without burning out. So, this is the next video in a series where I go over all of the tips, tools, and strategies that I use both in my own business as well as in my clients' businesses. And today I wanted to go over social media platforms, specifically how to market on social media. So this has been on a lot of people's minds lately due to the coronavirus. A lot of people are having to shift their focus when it comes to marketing and meeting new people and finding new customers to online. So how can we do this successfully in a way that decreases our amount of time and energy that we need to spend on it, but with still getting significant results? So, number one, when you are approaching marketing strategies, I always recommend that people start out by A, thinking about who your ideal clients are, and B, where they're hanging out. So, when it comes to online spaces, this is probably going to be on social media, but it could also be on Meetup. It could also be on blogs, on forums, on Reddit, on any type of Amazon review, any type of online platform where customers are already hanging out, places where they're already going, maybe surveys, maybe online networking groups. How can you reach them where they're already hanging out? So, two resources that I highly recommend that you guys look at are one, Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blunt, and two, The Wild Woman's Guide to Social Media by Mazarine Treyz. So these are two resources that I highly recommend. They've shaped my approach to marketing strategies very much so. I mean, they're my Bibles, essentially, when it comes to marketing, specifically online. And what they really propose is that you need to figure out who your ideal client is, and you need to figure out where they're hanging out, essentially. So who is your ideal client? Where are they hanging out already so that you can hang out there too and have a higher chance of reaching them? What platforms are they visiting every day? For example, if you're interested in reaching people who are over 30 with your products or services, you want to be on Instagram. Sorry. If you are reaching people who are under 30 with your services or products, you want to be on Instagram. If you're reaching people over 30 with your products and services, you want to be on Facebook. And if you're offering more of a business to business kind of service or product, then you want to be on LinkedIn. So how can you focus your efforts on the platforms that work for you? And even if you're working with seniors or elders as your ideal client, then you might want to consider snail mail as the marketing source that you use, because they probably don't spend a lot of time on social media. So really think about who your ideal client is, where they are already hanging out, and focus your efforts there first and foremost. So also, when you're marketing on social media, you are not pitching on social media. Sure, you can offer a pitch every now and then and let people know what your services or products are and how they can access them, but your primary goal on social media is to connect, interact, and teach. You are building familiarity here. You are building your credibility as an expert. You are giving them value, and you are intentionally creating that know, like, and trust factor. So how can you create value for them? How can you create value for your potential clients in a way where they're like, I want to learn more about this person or company because they seem to know what they're talking about. So how can you anchor that familiarity, anchor yourself as an expert, and provide content that is valuable and educates your audiences? So when we're talking about how people interact with marketing sources, there's a survey done by a global online consumer survey company called the Nielsen Group. And they say that recommendations from people I know is the number one most trusted marketing source. So that means when it comes to reaching your audiences, 82% of consumers in North America would trust opinions from people that they know. That's why organic engagement on social media is so important, because people see what their friends are engaging with. And if they see that a friend knows, likes, and trusts a certain brand, company, or service, then they're most likely to know, like, and trust them too. So number 2 on the survey is consumer opinions posted online, meaning that 66% of consumers trust other consumers' opinions. So this speaks to the importance of reviews like Yelp reviews, Google reviews, product reviews, even Facebook reviews, because your potential customers see that other people, real live people, are liking and trusting that company and their products or services. So they want to buy those products or services too. So that's the importance of strategically cultivating your online views, cultivating your online presence, and cultivating how people interact with your brand as satisfied or unsatisfied customers. So, number 3 on the survey is ads in newspapers. So, 65% of consumers trust newspaper ads that feature a particular company or brand. So, should you consider advertising in newspapers? Do your ideal clients even read newspapers? Think about where they're already going online. Do they go to newspaper sites on a daily basis? Do they get the newspaper digests in their emails every day? How do they interact with those types of press sources? So maybe you want to consider doing ads in newspapers as one of your marketing sources. Because if they already have trust in a certain newspaper and they see your ads featured, then that raises the know, like, and trust factor for your company. And next on the survey is emails I signed up for, meaning that 64% of consumers will trust emails that they sign up for because they already went through the effort of signing up for them. So there's already a certain level of trust with those brands. Take note, though, this does not include cold emails that they did not agree to receive. Emails that come out of the blue, emails that the potential customer has absolutely no context for, have a much lower trust factor. So this is true of cold messaging across the board. No matter what platform, no matter what method you're using to connect with potential customers, always, always, always ask for permission first. And finally, in 5th place is a tie between editorial content, such as newspaper articles, and ads on TV, both at 63%. So for editorial content, do you have a PR strategy? Do you strategically interact with the press? Do you get yourself featured on blogs, on newspaper articles, on magazine articles? How do you get your brand exposed to potential customers who already know, like, and trust a certain press source? And for ads on TV, it's generally assumed that if your company is featured in TV ads, then your company has a large marketing budget and is presumably already successful and trustworthy. So this ups the know, like, and trust factor again. So let's go over this list again. Number 1, recommendations from people I know, sitting at 82%. Consumer opinions posted online, sitting at 66%. Ads in newspapers at 65%. Emails I signed up for, 64%. And then a tie at 63% is editorial content such as newspaper articles and ads on TV. So please notice that the top 5 sources of trusted consumer content does not include social media ads. And that's an important factor to think about. A lot of people think that if they just throw money at Facebook ads or Instagram ads, they will create credibility. They will create familiarity. Sure, those ads can build audiences and build online presence, but it is a much lower success rate, a lower return on investment, ROI, because it doesn't include building trust. When you think about sales funnels, it's really about trust funnels because people want to buy from the people that they know, like, and trust. And when you're doing just social media ads, they don't get a chance to interact with you. They don't get a chance to build familiarity. They don't get a chance to get value, to get content that educates. They just see a chance for a paid transaction. And so when you're talking about your marketing strategies, you might want to consider the top 5 sources that consumers trust before you consider paid advertising on social media, unless you already have an established trusted brand. If you don't already have an established trusted brand, you need to anchor yourself as a business that people can know, like, and trust first. So now I'm going to move on to the various platforms. So I'm not an expert in all platforms, but I use Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram in my daily content, my daily social media strategies. And so I just wanted to go over each of those individually to show you a little bit about them. So when it comes to Facebook personal profiles, these are for your family, they're for your friends, and they're for people in your close networks who might become potential customers. And when you're creating content for your personal profiles, you want to keep it non-pitchy. You don't want to market your services that hard. You can provide links to your company, to your Facebook business page, to your Facebook groups, but you don't want to spam all of your personal friends with business stuff. So the content that you post on your Facebook personal profiles are going to be content about you primarily. So content that builds credibility in you as a person, shows your imperfect sides, shows your lovable sides, shows your warm and engaging and funny sides. So personal profiles are not for business content. And Facebook actually has a limit too, and I believe it's at 30%, if I'm remembering correctly, that 30%, if you go above 30% of business content on your personal pages, it will mark you as spam. So make sure that all of your business content is focused on your business pages and in your Facebook groups. So when it comes to Facebook business pages, this is where you provide more professional content, more business-oriented content. Again, we're not focused on pitching all the time. It's kind of like a 10-to-1 ratio. So 10 pieces of content that are educational, provide value, build your credibility, and then one piece of promo. So use that 10-to-1 formula to make sure that people get the chance to know, like, and trust you outside of your pitching, outside of your sales tactics. So that's what Facebook business pages are for. However, when it comes to business pages versus Facebook groups, when people like your business page, they don't get a lot of content from you in their feeds naturally, in their news feeds. And so they have to intentionally go to your business page in order to interact with your content. Whereas with Facebook groups, people who join the groups get notifications of new content from those groups. And so they have that content in the Facebook group has a much higher chance of reaching people's news feeds than content made in Facebook business group pages. Does that make sense? So business pages are kind of like a brochure. Think of them as a website that you update every now and then. You really don't have to post there that often, maybe a couple times a week. But when it comes to Facebook groups, make sure that you're doing daily content. Make sure that you are continually, strategically, and consistently posting content, interacting with people, commenting, and really generating that engagement factor. Because again, we're talking about those organic engagement factors. Those are so much more valuable when it comes to social media than artificially produced engagement. So that's what Facebook groups are for and Facebook pages are for. And when you're creating this content, keep in mind that you have a specific purpose for the content. So speak to one person, speak to that one ideal client as you're making this content and make it very clear what that content is for. So why are you telling them this? Make sure that the content answers that question. Why are you telling this particular ideal client this information? So that it only has one purpose to it per piece of content. And this is where the calls to action really come into play. You have to really tell people what you want them to do after they've consumed that piece of content. So whether you want them to go to your website, whether that you want them to sign up for your newsletter, whether you want them to comment below, share it with their friends, spell it out for them. And so remember too, as you're creating content for these platforms, use your ideal client's language. This is where the importance of market research interviews come into play. If you have a chance to sit down with people who fit your ideal client profile, then you can use their words that they use to talk about their challenges. so that you can use that verbiage exactly for your content. So if you can articulate their thoughts, feelings, and frustrations better than they can themselves, then your content is going to convert them easily, because you are going to sound like a mind reader. If you are using their language, if you are using their words to talk about their feelings, thoughts, and frustrations, then they're going to be like, this person gets me. Obviously, their product and service is going to help me because this person understands who I am. They understand what I'm struggling with. So make sure that you can eliminate their fears and objections before they've even gotten a chance to come up with them. Make sure that you show that you understand their particular pain points, their feelings, their opinions, their frustrations better than they do. So ask them, what's one thing that I could fix that would change everything for you? You know, what kind of result can you provide them that would really transform their lives with your product or your service? So this is kind of what to keep in mind as you're building content. So each piece of content, each piece of content only speaks about one topic and one area of focus and what is getting in the way of taking action at that time. And there's one point or goal for each piece of content. There's one job for each element or segment of the post, and talk to one person only, your ideal client. And there's one call to action for each piece of content. So what are they feeling? What frustrations are they having? So you are selling the transformation that your product or service will provide. You aren't selling the features of your product. You're selling the result of your product. Does that make sense with you guys? So your method is the best, fastest, easiest, science-backed, whatever it is, way to get that result. So you can support your claim with reasons to believe them, evidence, studies, stats, stories, news, customer reviews, stuff like that. Just make sure that your content answers the question, why am I telling you this, essentially. So moving on to Facebook Lives, again, this is a great opportunity for people to get to know you, up that know, like, and trust factor. I've done a video on Facebook Lives previously, so I recommend you checking that out. And video is actually going to be the most highly searched piece of content soon here in the next couple of years. YouTube is actually going to outrank Google as the #1 search engine in the world soon. So really take advantage of use of video in your marketing strategies. So Facebook Lives, make sure that they're imperfect. Tell stories, connect with your audiences on a real human level, and that ups the know, like, and trust factor. And do them regularly, at least once a week. So people get notifications when you are starting lives. So especially in Facebook groups, not necessarily on Facebook business pages or on personal profiles, but if you are in a Facebook group doing a Facebook Live, then people will get a notification that you are starting a live. And encourage comments, encourage engagement as you're doing the live as well, and interact with the people who are watching. People want to feel heard, people want to feel seen. So really take advantage of that, really lean into that as you're doing your Facebook Lives. And then for Facebook ads, again, this is if you already have an established brand, a trusted brand, you can do Facebook ads very, very easily, but it's going to be a low return on investment if you don't already have an established brand to rely on in your Facebook ads. So I don't recommend diving into them right off the bat. Really build your audiences first and foremost, and then think about ads. But it's not really a good thing to start out with for return on investment. So save your money, save your time, focus on an organic engagement first, and then you can consider ads. And then Facebook Messenger. So this goes back to that cold messaging thing that I was talking about previously. Do not cold message people. Do not assume that you know what's going on in their lives. Do not assume that you have the solution to their problems. Ask them first. So when you are reaching out to people on Facebook Messenger, really make sure that you ask them for permission first. Ask them about their lives. Create that human contact to build a relationship with them before business even comes into play. Just build that relationship first and foremost, because it's a trust funnel. It's not a sales funnel. Do not start with the sales pitch right off the bat. Give them a chance to know, like, and trust you first. Don't assume what their problems are. Don't assume what their challenges are. Ask them, learn about them, connect with them as if they're a friend first and foremost, not a potential customer. Does that make sense, guys? All right, cool. So moving on to Instagram. Again, Instagram personal profiles are going to be your friends and family, maybe potential clients, but I highly recommend that you keep your Instagram personal profile private. So keep it kind of close to the heart. This is for your inner circle of friends, inner circle of families, because you can use your Instagram business profile for all the business stuff. So I highly recommend that you keep your Instagram personal profile private and then have an Instagram business profile where you post all of your business content. And again, we're talking about content that has a specific purpose, answers the question, why am I telling you this? It has a specific call to action, whether it's commenting, whether it's sharing, whether it's going to the website. Link in bio is a huge call to action on Instagram, because you're allowed to put a website link in your Instagram bio for the Instagram business profile. So a lot of posts go to link in bio because it's not really recommended that you post website URLs in the caption of Instagram posts. And I highly recommend using Hootsuite and a tool called IG Caption, Line Break Caption Maker, as a way to really format your posts in a way that's really easily legible. So I really don't like posts on Instagram that have big blocks of text. Put paragraph breaks between them, put emojis between them, and use the IG Line Break Caption Maker app to create those captions for you so that they are formatted correctly and you don't lose people's interest, because people aren't interested in big blocks of text on Instagram. It's mostly image oriented for the Instagram platform. So make sure that your content is appropriate for that platform, and do not include URL links in the caption because they are not clickable. So people have to either write that URL out into their browser or something else, because they can't copy and paste captions. They can't click on captions. So if you have a URL that you want people to follow, put it in your Instagram bio, and then have a link tree as well if you want to have multiple links available for them. So just think about the differences between the platforms, because Facebook allows you to have URLs in the captions, but Instagram does not. So you're going to have to change your content based on the platform that you're using to make sure that it's best formatted for that platform. And if you're posting content that is going to both your Facebook and your Instagram, stagger the days so that you're not posting the same content on the same day on different platforms. So if you post something on Facebook on Monday, wait until Wednesday to post the same content on Instagram. Because if your audience is following you on both platforms, they're going to get annoyed that they're seeing the same content at the same time. So if they forget to look at it on Monday, then you give them another chance on Wednesday to look at it. So again, we're upping the number of touch points that you have with the clients. So that's how to handle content on Instagram versus Facebook. So then hashtags and engagement. Hashtags are super important on Instagram because a lot of people follow specific hashtags in their feeds or look at specific hashtags as they are trolling around on the platform. And so the thing about hashtags, though, is that Instagram tracks what hashtags you use as well. And if you use too many of the same hashtags, a lot of posts in a row, it will mark you as a spam account. So make sure to change up the hashtags that you're using. Make sure that the hashtags have at least 50,000 posts associated with them, because that will up the exposure of your post. If you're using hashtags that only have a couple posts associated with them, you're not going to reach a wide audience. So do some research, see what hashtags are popular in your industry and use those, but make sure you keep track of which ones you use to make sure that you don't end up being marked as a spam account. And so this is where engagement comes in as well. So people who are searching hashtags but aren't following your Instagram profile can still like and comment on your posts. And so do highly encourage commenting because that ups your algorithm in the Instagram app as well to make sure that you show up on more people's profiles and more people's news feeds. So engagement, again, organic engagement is super important when it comes to social media. Instagram lives and stories. Again, we are giving people a chance to get to know you as the person, get to know you on a familiar level. And so Instagram lives are short videos that get posted to your stories and they exist for 24 hours and then they disappear. All stories exist for 24 hours and then they disappear. And stories can be images, stories can be videos, the lives, stories can be reposted posts from other accounts. So just keep in mind that this is like an easy, fast way to give more value to your audiences and give it a bit of a scarcity scarcity imperative so that people know that they're only available for 24 hours. So they're more likely to look at your stories than they are to go to your profile because they know that the profile content will be around forever as long as you have the profile. So it's kind of got that scarcity, click now before it's too gone kind of feel to it. So again, similar to Facebook Lives, just use it as an opportunity to show them the imperfect human being that you are and give them a chance to know, like, and trust you. Instagram ads, similar to Facebook ads, they only work if you have an established and trusted brand already built. So I don't recommend looking into them when you're first starting out. And then Instagram DMs, same concept as Facebook Messenger. Do not cold message people. Ask permission first. Get to know them first. Become a friend first and foremost before you pitch to them. I don't know how many messages I get on a day-to-day basis of people claiming that they can solve my problems when they don't even know what my problems are. So take the time to get to know people. Ask them about themselves, ask them about their challenges, ask them about their frustrations. Get to know them first and foremost before you pitch to them. All right, so moving on to LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is going to be a lot more business to business focused for products and services. And the thing about LinkedIn is that not a lot of people post on this regularly. So to back up a little bit, Facebook should be posted to a couple times a week. Instagram should be posted to every single day, and LinkedIn should be posted to about once a week, couple times a week. Because a lot of businesses, a lot of people don't post to LinkedIn regularly. It's not part of their social media content strategy. And so any posts that you make are going to get a lot of attention just because there's not a lot of posts getting posted out there, especially as small businesses. And so again, keep your LinkedIn personal profile separate from your LinkedIn business page. Business pages are more so that you can link employees to them. You can create content that's specifically for the business if you have a company and it's not just one solopreneur. And then just keep in mind that this is a very professional platform too. So people aren't interested in seeing pictures of your dog. People aren't interested in seeing pictures of your kid. People aren't interested in your trip to the grocery store. So really keep your content on here professional and company oriented, and think of it more as like sharing relevant articles to your industry, sharing relevant blog posts, relevant videos to your industry. And it's really about more networking versus building that know, like, and trust factor on a personal level. And so I don't recommend mixing friends and family into LinkedIn either, unless they are really crucial to your client base. So it's a lot more professional. Just keep it above board, guys, here. And so hashtags and engagement, also super important on LinkedIn. Hashtags, not as much as Instagram, but hashtags are important on LinkedIn. I don't know if they track hashtags as much as Instagram does. So you can be a bit more loose in your use of them, but always encourage engagement as well, because the more engagement you get on your posts, the more they'll be shown on more people's news feeds. So if you have a connection that comments on your post, all of that connections are going to see that post as well. So it's kind of like the snowball factor where you get access to one person's field of reference and then you get access to all of their connections as well. So keep in mind that engagement is super important on LinkedIn as well. And again, include a call to action. Again, have one particular purpose to the content and give them a clear reason why you are telling them this. LinkedIn Lives are a new thing. I haven't dabbled into them yet, but I see a couple people using them. I don't know exactly how people are using them just yet, but I believe that it's just another form to connect with your audiences on a more real level. But I imagine that it's going to be kept a lot more professional than it would be on a Facebook or an Instagram Live. So check it out. Look at other people's lives just to get a feel for them before diving into them. But I don't think it's a necessary aspect to being successful on LinkedIn as a platform. LinkedIn Connections, like I said, this is very professional network based. And so when you get access to one person, you also get access to all of their connections. So really respect them, really value them, and treat them right. When you are requesting connections with people, offer them a note to go along with the connection request. Tell them why you are seeking a connection with them. Do not just spam people with a bunch of connection requests. LinkedIn really wants to create a network on there where people know the people that they're connecting to. Again, this is against cold messaging. Do not cold message people. Ask permission first. Ask to be part of their network first. Tell them that you know Joe who knows them and that you are a few degrees removed and would like to create a better connection between them. So again, no cold messaging. Again, with the LinkedIn DMs, get to know people first, ask them about their work history, ask them about their business before pitching them. Do not make your first message to them pitching your product or service. This turns people off faster than you would think. So please just respect people's messaging, respect people's connections, make sure that you are showing up professionally, and just make sure that you're upping that know, like, and trust factor first. So that's really what I wanted to go over in terms of how to market on social media. If you have any more specific questions, let me know, comment below, and I hope this was helpful for you guys. So hit me up, let me know if there's anything else you want me to go over. And as always, love you all, take care, and have a good one.